Hello folks, Lonewolf 360 here back again for another fucking dink video, and today we're going to be making another Lonewolf Discusses video, where I pretty much give a basic overview and a few of my opinions on current internet drama that's been happening in the current moments. Mainly, this week we're going to be talking about Pokimane, the Leafy, no, not Leafy, but the h3h3 versus Keemstar, and also Leafy's awesome return. But first, we're gonna start with Pokimane, which is her apparently going after someone's sponsor when the guy wasn't even talking about her, but a simp which was donating so much to the point where he pretty much became homeless or broke. And I'll even admit that's pretty fucking funny. But apparently, after Pokimane reacted to that video on her Twitch channel, apparently she thought it was a smart idea to pretty much go to his sponsors, or go to the guy's sponsors, and say, hey, why are you sponsoring a guy which is making fun of others and being negative? And apparently that resulted in him losing his sponsorship. And I gotta say this, the fact that Pokimane went out of her way to go do something like this is something which is completely uncalled for, and something which is ridiculous in all honesty. I don't know who the fuck this bitch thinks she is, simply to go after someone and pretty much target them, all because she disagrees with what someone has to say. I don't know what's with the mentality of this idea of, oh, if you can't dish criticism, don't do certain shit, because that's what some people are actually saying. But at the same time, the fact that she literally went out of her way to go and make sure that this guy loses his sponsor, all because she disagreed with what this one guy had to say over a simp, is something which is completely uncalled for, and something which is just utterly ridiculous. Now let's get into the h3h3 versus Keemstar drama. Now, before I start talking about this whole debacle or this drama, I just want to make this clear here. I repeat, I do not really like h3h3 or Keemstar, so my ideas or my opinions on these guys is neutral overall. At the end of the day, I don't really care about these people, so I'm not really a h3h3 fan or a Keemstar fan. So, I think that's clear here, so none of you guys start attacking me, trying to find where I live so you can publicly execute me. But now let's get into the point. So apparently it all started when h3h3 decided to go make a video on Keemstar bringing up old stuff which everyone knew, which is the classic way to start cancel culture, folks. Trying to pick on something which happened in the past only to start it in the present, which is pretty fucking stupid. And apparently he also mentioned etiquette to try and push his points, which in all honesty made little sense. And after that, or after a short while, Keemstar also made a response, but then we started going after people's sponsors. And once again, I'm going to say this. I don't know who the heck thinks that is a smart idea to go after someone's form of pay, especially when you know that that could possibly be the only way how they can receive income, especially in these days. But that happened, and apparently it got really toxic. And apparently, not only did people start going after Keemstar's sponsors, which were G Fuel, which was pretty fucked up. But then people started going after Old Spice, and someone thought it was a smart idea to even shut down the entire website. And I have to say, this whole drama is pretty stupid in all honesty, because let's be real here, it's just Keemstar, no, because for the good majority of the part, it's just h3h3 being kind of an asshole, or just being a straight up asshole by trying to enforce stuff in the past and trying to push it in the present, and also by having his fans go after people's sponsors and then try to justify by saying some dumb shit like, oh, what is that? Keemstar went after people's sponsors years ago, when, yeah, it happened years ago. But just because it happened years ago doesn't mean you should do it in the present. Have you ever heard of the term that two wrongs don't make a right? Because that's pretty much the reality of this situation. We have people which are doing a bunch of stupid shit to try and make themselves seem as if they're morally good people when in all honesty they're not, and they're just retards just trying to follow some stupid cause. And then you also have h3h3 doing unnecessary shit like going and targeting certain people like Muda from Some Ordinary Gamers, for making tweets like, oh yeah, he's pretty cool because he helped me do this one thing a few weeks ago. And it's pretty dumb trying to enforce that thing in the future, especially knowing that your fans are a bunch of toxic morons which literally will target anyone that you say so, whatever the cause it is. So, that's apparently the case. I'm not sure if I'll ever talk about this again in a future when we'll discuss it if it even lasts that long. But for the most part, I think that this shit is just gonna be over in probably a month or so. I don't think it's gonna last any longer than that, because let's be real here. As ridiculous as this drama is, it's not going to be, that big to the point where it gets that intense or it lasts longer than it needs to be. But now let's talk about the last part, which is about Leaf. And with Leafy's grim return, apparently he's just making fun of all the people which were like capitalizing on his disappearance, making fun of his clones, pretty much just making fun of everyone which pretty much wronged them in the past. And it's so ironic how everyone was like, oh, Leafy could never come back into YouTube in this modern day and age, but he's currently doing fine. And even though his videos are pretty short, you know what? He's doing pretty good with getting a bunch of views on videos without having to wait for days and days on end. Like myself, a small YouTube channel which barely even grows and is lucky enough to even get to 400 subscribers. But that's not the point. But other than that, he's doing pretty well, and him coming back to the YouTube community was something which was really unexpected in all honesty. But, it's a welcome comeback, and I'm glad that he's back. So, that's all, folks. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and Lonewolf 360 out. Later.